What's going on, drivers, and welcome back to How to Drift Lesson 2. First of all, congratulations. If you've made it this far, you've already learned one of the hardest parts of drifting, initiating and maintaining that drift. If you're new to the channel or somehow found Lesson 2 first, I highly recommend watching a few videos before continuing. First, check out my video on how to drive manual. Then make sure your wheel settings are dialed in by watching my perfect wheel settings video. And most importantly, go watch How to Drift Lesson 1, where we built the car we're using and learned several ways to initiate a drift. Those videos will make today's lesson much easier, because today we're moving on to one of the most important skills in drifting, transitions. What is a transition? A transition is simply changing the direction of the drift, going from left drift to right drift, or from right drift to left drift. If you want to link corners together and keep your drift score alive, learning transitions is absolutely essential. And one of the best ways to practice transitions is with a classic drifting exercise called Chokudori, is when the car swings left and right down a straight section of road. The car never completely straightens. Instead, it creates a pendulum-like motion where the rear end dances from one side to the other. Not only does it look cool, but it teaches one of the most important fundamentals in drifting, weight transfer. So you're probably wondering where the transitions comes into play. Transitions are used everywhere. Transitions are what allows drifters to link corners together and maintain momentum throughout an entire run. You can go around the whole city if you want like this, but only in the game. Don't do this on public roads. And in Forza Horizon 6, this is also a great way to keep your drift points going while traveling down a straight. So let's head back to the shipyard and learn how to do it. For this exercise, we're heading back to the same shipyard we used in How to Drift Lesson 1. The reason I like practicing here is because it gives us plenty of room to focus on fundamentals without worrying about walls or traffic. Find yourself a nice long straight section and start with a basic drift. Once you're comfortable, smoothly unwind the wheel and allow the rear of the car to swing back across the opposite side. As the car transitions, apply smooth throttle and catch the slide. Then repeat the process in the opposite direction. Left, right, left, right. Think of it like a rhythm, but more importantly, remember that your focus should be on throttle control. Don't get caught up trying to steer the car everywhere you want it to go. Remember what we learned in Lesson 1. When the car begins to rotate, loosen your grip on the wheel and allow the wheel to countersteer itself. Then once the car reaches the angle you want, catch the wheel and hold that angle. In fact, one of the coolest things about Chokudori is that you can perform most of it with very little steering input. As you move down the straight, the car naturally transfers its weight from side to side. The wheel is doing much of the work for you. You're mainly controlling the car with the throttle and simply catching the wheel when needed. Think of yourself less as forcing the car and more as guiding it. The smoother your throttle inputs are, the smoother the transition becomes. At first, you might spin out. You might actually straighten the car. That's completely normal. Everyone does. Just keep practicing and focus on consistency. Remember, let the wheel countersteer. Catch the angle you want, use the throttle to control the drift, and let the car do the work. That's when drifting starts to feel natural. Alright, on to exercise 2, figure eights. Now let's build on that skill with one of the most popular drills in drifting, figure eights. If you ever watched real drifters practicing in a parking lot, you've probably seen this exercise before. All you need are 2 points on the road. They can be signs, light poles, or even imaginary markers. Start by drifting around one side, then transition the car and drift around the other side. But this time, don't immediately switch directions again. This time you're going to hold the drift, maintain your throttle, control your steering, and stay sideways. Then transition back the other way. Think about everything we've learned so far. You're initiating the drift, you're transitioning the car, and now you're learning to maintain the drift after changing direction. At first, make the circles large and slow. There's no need to rush. Focus on rhythm and consistency. Eventually, you'll notice the car starts feeling more natural, almost like it's dancing from one side to the other. And that's exactly what we're after. I'm going to go ahead and give you 15 minutes to practice this for now. Now that we've practiced the Chokudori and figure eights, let's see if we can use our transition skills to maintain a drift around one of the most famous drift courses in the world, Shimanoyama Drift Circuit. Don't worry about being perfect. Our goal isn't maximum angle or crazy speed. We're simply trying to recognize opportunities to transition the car and continue the drift. Remember what we practiced: smooth steering, smooth throttle, let the wheel countersteer, catch the angle, hold the drift, then transition again. If you make mistakes, that's part of learning. The goal here is progress. And if you can make it around while linking several quarters together, congratulations. You're already beginning to think like a drifter. But don't worry about mountain roads or drift battles just yet. Right now, we're building good habits. Master these drills first, speed and style will come later. Alright drivers, congratulations! You just learned one of the most important skills in drifting, transitions. By practicing the Chokudori and figure eights, you're teaching yourself how to smoothly transfer weight and maintain control after changing direction. These are the same fundamentals that will eventually allow us to tackle toge runs and drift battles later in the series. But first, we'll still have some advanced techniques to learn, and that's exactly what I will cover in Lesson 3. We'll dive into some situational scenarios, perhaps talk about tandem drifting, and more. So keep practicing. Remember, nobody becomes a great drifter overnight. If you want to continue improving outside of these videos, don't forget to check out my book, The Standard of Driving, a sim racing guide to control, consistency, and speed. Inside it, I go much deeper into car control, consistency, and purposeful practice. You'll find a link in the description below. Thanks for watching, drivers, and as always, drive safe and save it for the track. And I'll see you in Lesson 3.